Hello world! Today I want to talk a little bit about my personal history here on YouTube because I get a lot of questions about it, a lot in person actually. Not too many YouTube comments, but a lot of you may not know this story and it may be helpful for those of you who want to start your own channel. My life after high school is very different right now than all of my friends because I decided to take a very unique path that was not traditional, and a lot of people really thought it was a bad idea until, of course, my YouTube channel started to pick up traction. This, of course, is the risky idea of not going to college after high school. Now, depending on where you are, that may be common or it may be very uncommon. For me, though, in Oroville, California, it was essentially unheard of. It was occasional, but typically someone who was not going to college out of high school found a trade school or a job that instantly paid a lot, so they could support themselves very quickly, like working at a hospital or welding. You know, they went into a career that has a high demand and hires applicants very quickly. So other than that, though, out of high school, you found a college, you moved away, or you went to Chico State, which is very close, or you went to Butte College, another community college very close to here. Everyone in my family has gone to college. Both my parents have been very generous to my two older sisters, Abby and Emily, both of them going to colleges that costed $30,000 to $40,000 a year. Luckily, both of them were top 10 students and they got massive amounts of scholarships that didn't pay for all of tuition, but quite a lot. And because my parents are so smart financially, they put aside savings accounts for us that was dedicated to money that would be spent on college. I don't want to give off the impression that my parents bought all this stuff for me. Believe me, my parents didn't spoil us with presents. I'm still living with my parents right now and I am paying them rent. Everything you see in this room was paid for by me, and I had to earn all that money working for other people. I did not have an allowance growing up. I did chores, but there was no money involved. It was just pulling your weight in the household. And my parents are very strict about us providing for ourselves, paying for our cell phone plan, paying for our car insurance. I don't even recall of a time I just straight up asked my parents to give me money, which is common now among some of my other friends, but I don't do that. So regardless, all I'm trying to say is we're in a family where going to college is normal and in fact expected, as in it's kind of bizarre to hear that their son, and for my extended family, their grandson, was not going to be attending higher education after high school. The primary reason I wasn't interested in doing that was because my senior year of high school, I went to Butte College, a community college, where I was told for so many years that, you see, once you're out of public education, you don't have to deal with so much crap because all the students, they want to be there. People have more specified careers, so there's less busy work, and the classes you'll take there will be a bit more applicable. If you've been subscribed to Taylor's Talks for a while, you probably remember the podcast where me and Xanter ranted so much about public education and how it's ridiculous and framed all wrong, and I hated all 3 years at my high school. So once I got to Butte College, I was expecting a change. I said, okay, once I get into college, then I could start studying things I actually want to study, which is film and business. I wanted to have a bachelor's degree in business with a minor in film. That's what I was going to shoot for when I went to Butte. I took web design classes, I went to film classes, I took intro to business, I took mass media, and of course the required statistics and English. Maybe I put too much expectations on these classes, but once I got there, I realized that it wasn't that much different from high school. In certain ways, it was even more of a time waster because we were still limited to group projects where you were partnered with people you didn't want to work with and they weren't very good at what they were doing. I was also told that everyone who was there wanted to be there, and I didn't find that true at all. Basically, everyone I wanted to talk to felt like they were there because of their parents or because they didn't find a job, so now to find a job, they're just gonna go to college to either meet somebody that they're gonna marry one day, or they don't know what they want to do, so they're gonna take classes until something jumps out at them. I think the difference with me, though, was I really knew what I wanted to do. I had a very strict vision of what my future was going to be. I wanted to run a YouTube network, the Taylor's Network, and I was just going to go to college while doing YouTube on the side so that I could learn more about film, learn more about business, and how to run it. I very quickly realized, though, that in these film classes and in these business classes, I wasn't learning any applicable knowledge. It still felt like everything I was studying for was just for the next test, the next final, the next quiz, and that knowledge never really left that quiz. Now please, before I go on, I want everyone to understand that I don't think college is useless. I don't really think anyone believes that. I certainly don't. I understand that certain careers definitely require college, whether it's chemistry or you want to be a doctor, you want to be a dental hygienist, you want to be an engineer. There are definitely set ways on how you get those careers, most of them requiring college. So I understand that. I'm not trying to bash all college here. All I'm trying to say is I think we live in a society where if you have a plan, or even if you don't have a plan, it's expected that, well, why don't you just go to college just because? It opens up doors, right? While that is true to an extent, I think it's a very dangerous, slippery slope slope idea that if you don't know what you want to do and you just start spending money on tuition and books, hoping you'll figure it out, a lot of that money is going to go to waste. My sister spent 4 years at her film school down in Southern California, very expensive, and after those 4 years were up, she decided she didn't want to be a filmmaker anymore because she did internships, she worked with several businesses down there as an editor, and after all that happened, she decided she didn't want to be a part of that industry, but she found an incredible boyfriend down there, and both of them are now married, and they live in Spokane. So my sister now does freelance work for people online who need editing done. And don't ask for her link. You can't talk to her. So I think after she did that, it was kind of a sign to me that you can go to college and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on something that ultimately really is just an extra line on a resume. Several businesses I've met and talked to over my education have mentioned that they were looking specifically for people who did not go to college because it means they have to be a bit more creative and independent with their career choices. About halfway through my first year at college, I quickly realized I'm not learning anything from this. My YouTube channels are growing. I want to try to do this full time. That at the time was a big risk because I think I had about 1,000 subscribers on tech. Not even that, actually. I think I was around 500 in the winter. This was when my entire audience was still very, very small and I was really making Saturday shorts in the Talos of Cinematic Universe. The tech channel was not yet a priority. So to tell my parents and my friends and family that no, I'm not planning on attending a college, you know, I wasn't taking certain tests that you have to take in order to get into certain universities, I wasn't applying anywhere, I wasn't applying for scholarships. That was concerning for all of them because I think society right now looks at you when you don't go to college and says, oh, you don't have your life together. You're not really thinking this through, are you? And you know what? I'm not even gonna say they're wrong to think that because like a lot of you, I went to college and got all the statistics. The people who go there are likely to make more money. That's just simple stats. The people who get a degree are more likely to have more sustainable incomes and have more in-stone set careers. That is true. To do what I did and start just making YouTube videos as well as working at a manual labor job simultaneously is not a guaranteed success. And I think that's the main reason a lot of people don't do that. The main reason people want to go to college is they want to have a set plan so that they can see where they're going to be in 5 or 10 years and say, here's how much money I'll be making. Here's the industry I'm going to go into once I have this degree. It's a set plan. It's like insurance, essentially. What I did, which is far more risky, and I fully was aware of the chances at the time, was say, okay, I'm going to graduate high school with a diploma, then I'm going to work at a mansion ranch and go home and make YouTube videos. And especially when people ask you what you're doing this year, they have a hard time respecting that. You know, when we'd see people in town, we'd be eating dinner or something, friends or family would walk by and be like, hey, so where are you going now? Like, everyone just assumes, what college are you at? And it quickly became very awkward and complicated to try to explain to every single person, oh, I'm just working now, and I'm doing YouTube. That's like the equivalent of saying I started a band. Like back in the 80s, people got together and started bands and said they were gonna make it big. Nowadays, people have YouTube channels. Oh, I'm gonna work on YouTube. And then those friends, family, or relatives or whatever would look at you like, oh, great. I bet he thinks he's gonna make it big. Because that's the frustrating thing about it, is it's a viable job now. I don't even work at the Mandarin Ranch anymore. I just do YouTube. And yet when you say it to people, they don't quite understand it. The majority public right now doesn't understand how you make money on YouTube. I've explained it 1,000 times and people still don't understand it, but overall, just because it's such an out of the ordinary job choice that it's kind of looked down upon, and I can understand why. When I tell someone I have a YouTube channel, typically I think their mind is thinking, wow, so he plays video games for a living. And I'm like, that's not it at all. But that's all they know it as. And especially when I would tell people that, you know, I don't really have an idea of what degree I want because the job I want doesn't exist yet. Being the CEO of a YouTube network, that's not really something you apply for. It's kind of something you make yourself. So I would tell people, you know, I'm not gonna go to college because I don't really enjoy the classes when I take the tests and when I study. I don't feel like I'm really learning something that's useful. I just feel like I'm staring at a textbook, getting ready for the next test, and then once you pass that test, all that information is lost. Typically, people would say, well, just take business. Business opens up tons of possibilities. You can get tons of jobs if you have a business degree. I understand if you disagree with me on this, but that attitude really bothers me. The fact that if you aren't interested in doing college and you don't have a degree set in mind, you don't have an end goal, that you should just do something. Just get business. You think you'll use it? I don't know, maybe, but you should just get it because. I really think that diminishes people's opportunity to do something different because I think the most influential people in our history all kind of started their new ideas out of the ordinary. Both Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and millions of other startup companies all started with dropping out of college. Now, I'm not gonna say that you should drop out of college if you just want to start making YouTube videos. Listen, I made tech videos, I made Saturday shorts, I made gaming videos and movie reviews while going to college. This isn't something I was hoping to do. This is something I was doing, and I wanted to quit college because then I could have more time on it, not I could start it. If you haven't started a channel and you're just gonna start completely from scratch as soon as you drop out of college, I'm not gonna recommend that. What I did was work manual labor all day after college, all of this last year, and just focused on making videos that were doing well, which of course was the tech channel. I've continued to do that all of that year. I almost quit the ranch job the exact time I started it the year before. And now I'm about 3 weeks into just doing YouTube full time, and it's been going very well thanks to you guys. I'm enjoying it, though it's a little scary. I have a hard time sleeping because, you know, it's definitely not an insured policy. You know, if you worked at McDonald's, you know, you have a time card. Here's how much money you will have at the end of the week. That's kind of set in stone. That's what most jobs are. Even the ranch job was like that. When I would go there, I'd know exactly how much money I was going to have at the end of the day, and I could predict that. I could say, here's how much money I will make next month. YouTube, it's not like that. Everything could crash and burn next month. So typically now I wake up very, very early to start recording videos because I feel like if I'm not working really hard, then I'm not going to make money, and this whole business could crash and burn. Don't want that to happen, so thank you guys for supporting on Patreon and super chatting and just watching the videos. You guys are assuring me that that won't happen, hopefully. But I just want anyone out there who is not yet out of college or not yet out of high school to realize you can make a career without college. It is definitely possible. And if people are telling you you have to do it, then it's probably not something you're going to enjoy. It's not going to be easier though. I found that when I went to college and high school, the work was boring and it was tough, but you knew exactly what you had to do. You knew you had to study these books and pass these tests, and then you would get the grade. Whereas YouTube, no one's telling me what to do. I don't have some teacher, I don't have some test. I am literally just improving my way through, just through trial and error, to hopefully make this channel grow. There's still a lot I don't know. And a lot of people out there would say I haven't made it on YouTube. To me, I think I have made it because it's supporting me and it's now my full-time job. To me, that means I've made it. It doesn't mean I have 100,000 subs or 1 million, but I have a job. But if you're hoping to do more with your life and take a leap of faith like that, just understand it's going to be tough. You're probably going to be tired and you're going to have to put a lot more work into your videos, but let me be proof it is possible to make that a reality. College is definitely not required for everything. It is required for certain careers, but in terms of movie making, I'm definitely gonna say it's not. Let me know your thoughts. You probably disagree with me on certain aspects of this. All of that in the comments below, and I'm very excited to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Hello world again, you guys. See you in the next one. Take care.